Hello, and thank you so much for joining us. I'm Lulu Freistad. I am the co-founder and executive director of Smart Elections, and I am here to welcome you to some information about the Wisconsin election that's coming up on April 1st. There is early voting going on right now, and there will be at least one more day of early voting tomorrow in some locations. And we are training election protection workers so that we can gather data and information about the election and try to ensure that the results are accurate and to raise people's confidence in the results. And if you would like to be part of that, then we welcome you. It's actually much simpler than you would think. We've done election protection for the last 5 years in our home state. I live in New York. And it's considerably more complicated here because there's a lot of sort of hoops to jump through. But in Wisconsin, anybody can observe the election. And it's pretty simple in terms of the requirements. And I'll talk to you about that now. So um, here's some of the places where you can find us. We're on X, Blue Sky, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and of course, you're seeing us here on YouTube. And if you're here with us on YouTube, or I know some people might be also watching on Facebook, then please do subscribe or follow us. That always helps us in connecting with more people. So let's get you a little bit of background about Smart Elections. We are a nonpartisan nonprofit, and we've been around for about 5 years. And our focus is on elections that are fair, accurate, secure, and accessible. And we especially focus on election security because that's our wheelhouse. I am an election security journalist formerly, and I covered election security for about 20 years, actually. I first started looking into the security of elections around 2007. I filmed the first known hack of a US voting machine in 2007 at Princeton by some grad students. And it was a fascinating process. I learned a lot. And one of the things I learned was that our computers are vulnerable to mistakes and hacking, our voting tabulators. And it was something that really stayed with me. And as I worked more on improving our elections and organizing for election reform and advocating for that, I kept returning again and again to the idea that we really have to make sure that the elections are secure and accurate. And this was long before 2020 or any of the kind of issues that have been raised in the more recent years. So when in 2019, I co-founded Smart Elections with some colleagues, security, accuracy, as well as fairness and accessibility were our top priorities, and they remain our top priorities. And because of that, election protection has become a really important issue for us because what you want is to ensure that the election results are accurate. And one of the best ways to do that is to be watching during the election and to see if there are any irregularities during the process, and also collect data during that process that helps us evaluate the election afterwards. And so we actually developed really a proprietary technique, something that was unique to our observation training. A lot of people train observers, but they don't necessarily tell them what to look for. And we actually have a whole protocol that we train people in. We especially look to see if the number of voters who have voted matches the number of ballots that had been counted or scanned by the tabulator. And there's different ways of gaining that information. And so what we're going to be doing is training people about how to find that information in Wisconsin. So in Wisconsin, there are a number of things that you are allowed to do, and there's things that you're not allowed to do. So you're not allowed to just walk around the poll site. There will be a limited space where you can stay. It's supposed to be 3 to 8 feet from where the voters sign in, but you will be able to periodically request a list of the voters who voted. And then hopefully at the end of the night, you'll also be able to request a poll tape, although we're trying to get confirmation of that. There's less information about that in the statutes. And in addition to that, if you wanted to go to another location and observe absentee ballots being counted, you would be able to do that. You'll also be able to be there and present in case you're wanting to make sure that there's sort of, depending on whether you're conservative or progressive, you might have different priorities, but we're really interested in fairness, and we work with people across the political spectrum. So we want to make sure that all eligible voters are able to vote and that no one votes who isn't eligible. And those are things that observers can check. So those are some of the things that we'll train you how to do. And the training sessions are going to be the next 2 days. So we have one scheduled for tomorrow, which is Sunday, March 30th. And that one is going to be at, let's see, I think we're at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're only looking for people who are actually on the ground in Wisconsin, because this is an in-person training session. And so you have to be there in person. And actually, I can just add this back up. This has the information. It actually has the times there. So this is the YouTube information session that I'm giving you right now. You can watch this again if you want. This will remain up at this link. And then on the 30th, tomorrow at 4 o'clock Central Daily Time, we will have a Zoom training session. And then we'll also have one on March 31st at 6 p.m. Central Daily Time. And those Zoom links, you will need to sign up in order to get the Zoom link. And so if you go to our website, smartelections.us, you can get the link there. It's right on the homepage where it says sign up, and it'll take you to the Google form and you can sign up. If for some reason you don't have a Gmail address and can't use a Google form, it's no problem. Just send us an email at contact@smartelections.us, and we will make sure that you're able to get the Zoom link. So either fill out the Google form or send us an email at contact@smartelections.us and just put Wisconsin elections in the subject line, and we'll be able to send you the Zoom link there. So we hope that you do participate if you live in Wisconsin. It's a really important election. There are a lot of issues on the ballot. This is an election for the Supreme Court of Wisconsin, and the balance of power on the court is at stake. Whoever wins the election will decide the balance of power. And the Supreme Court in Wisconsin will be ruling most likely on redistricting. So it could even determine the balance of power, or help determine the balance of power in Congress, because that is such a tight balance right now. The Supreme Court will also be likely weighing in on issues like abortion, the right to collective bargaining for unions, as well as whether or not voters can use drop boxes. And then there is a separate referendum on the ballot about voter ID, whether or not Wisconsin will adopt voter ID. So these are all really important questions, and that's why we are looking for people to do election protection. So I'm just going to try to check in the chat in case there's anybody who's asking questions. So let me just double check. Okay. No questions. We really put this up on pretty short notice. We've been incredibly busy. We've been working on 2 different lawsuits. We have a lawsuit moving forward in Rockland County, New York, that is asking for a full hand recount of the 2024 Senate and presidential elections. And the judge has said that she may give us the recount there. It's on the table. So we have hired a really good attorney, and we're pursuing that lawsuit. And then we've also been involved we have another lawsuit moving forward that will have a hearing in April about a primary election where we were concerned the results were inaccurate. And then in addition to that, we are continuing to research and investigate what happened in the 2024 election and other elections, even going back to 2020, actually. And we've been putting together a lot of really fascinating data, much of which is going to be available very soon. If you haven't seen the data that we put forward so far, you can check that out at smartelections.us. And I think we have a banner for that. That's our website, smartelections.us. And if you want to look at the analysis that we've done so far, it's under 2024 election in the drop-down menu, and you'll particularly look at drop-off. That's one of our main analysis. And then you can also go to our Substack. And again, if you're on the homepage at smartelections.us, there's a link directly to the Substack. And a lot of the information about the research that we're doing is there, and we'll be putting more up shortly. So thank you so much. We hope that you will be participating, and if you're not in Wisconsin, we hope that you will be spreading the word to any friends or family that you have who are there. And do go to the website smartelections.us and sign up to participate. The training sessions again are going to be on Sunday and Monday. So that's Sunday, March 30th at 4 p.m. Central Daylight Time, and Monday, March 31st at 6 p.m. Central Daylight Time. And thanks so much for all that you do. Oh, and I always have to mention one more thing. I have to mention that you can donate. It's incredibly important to raise money, not just for the election protection, but also for the lawsuits, also for the research that we're doing, and to support our organization as we go forward and grow. We are actually developing a network of election protection team members all over the country, and it requires really a massive amount of organizing, and it requires fundraising, and the lawsuits are tremendously expensive. The lawyers are expensive, and we've already put down a deposit of tens of thousands of dollars just for our first hearing for the recount in Rockland County. So if by any chance that you could make a donation, we do ask that you donate for it. And I will put the link into the chat, actually. You can go to our website at smartelections.us, and you just click on donate. But I'll also just put that link directly into the chat, so that if you wanted to go right this moment and make a donation because you're just feeling inspired and you know that you want to do something, now would be a great time to please make a donation. And it is tax deductible, and you'll feel good. You'll feel happy that you're doing something and that you're supporting good work, protecting our elections. And Rachel, thank you so much. Really appreciate that heart you got in the comments. So hopefully for people who live in Wisconsin, we'll see you Sunday and Monday. And for those of you outside of Wisconsin, please do everything you can. Spread the word, donate, stay tuned, read the Substack, keep doing what you're doing. And our elections will get better as we all work together. Thanks so much.